So we're looking at the fundamentals of a competition economy. And in previous videos, we looked at how people further their own self-interest as the foundation of how a competition economy works. Because remember, Adam Smith's invisible hand is that the competition economy works because people act in their own self-interest. That's how we get diverse goods, and that's how we get more productive and efficient, better quality. People are acting in their own self-interest. And it's competition among businesses and individuals that keep the prices down. So the next thing I want to look at is that people weigh costs and benefits before making decisions. So we want to discuss the scarcity principle. So the scarcity principle says that we have infinite wants but limited resources. Because we have infinite things that we want, but we only have a limited amount of time and money and energy, we have to make choices. So how do people make choices? And in fact, when we look at economics, there's an entire area of economics that looks at how choices are made. In behavioral economics, we look in detail at choice theory. And in fact, the next couple discussions that we have over the weeks will be really focused on that behavioral economics and understanding how individuals make choices. So as we dive into how choices are made, according to the fundamentals of a competition economy, we make choices by weighing the costs and benefits. So let's look at how that process works. So we said that you act in your own self-interest if you actively work using your resources, your efforts to obtain the things that you want. And how do you decide if it's something that you want? Well, you're going to weigh the costs and benefits so that you can make that choice. When we look at the cost and benefit analysis, we look at the marginal cost. Okay, this is the extra cost that is incurred by the decision. And we look at the marginal benefit. This is the extra benefit that we derive from doing this activity or buying this or eating this or whatever it is. So we weigh the extra cost and the extra benefit. We exclude costs or benefits that we would incur or receive regardless of the decision. Okay. The other thing that we ignore is what is called a sunk cost. And sunk costs are costs that are irreversible, incurred prior to our decision, and we can't take it back. So it shouldn't impact the decision we're making now because we can't change it. That's why we only consider the marginal costs and the marginal benefits, because we only want to consider what would actually change with this decision. If it's already happened in the past, and we can't take it back, it shouldn't be part of the new decision. That would be just throwing new money after showing good money after the bad money, right? So they're just wasting additional money when you can't get the first one back. So let's look at a little bit more detail in terms of a decision. All right. You are trying to decide to go to the dentist. So what are the costs and benefits of going to the dentist? Well, the benefit of going to the dentist is that your teeth will stop hurting. Right? They're going to fix whatever your problem is. The cost of going to the dentist, well, you have the money, right? So whatever you have to pay, whatever insurance doesn't cover kind of thing. That'll be a cost. You have your time, right? So that is how much you could have made at an hour of work. Okay. Maybe one of the costs of going to dentists is that they're going to poke and prod and that there's some pain as they clean your teeth. Okay. Well, other benefits, teeth whitening, right? Your teeth look better when they pull all that plaque off. Okay. So as we look at these costs and benefits, let's think about if it's just a cleaning. Okay, you're going to get your teeth cleaned. So my teeth don't currently hurt. So this benefit of the teeth stop hurting is not an extra benefit for going to this particular visit. I still have to pay for it. There's still that hour off of work. All that poking and prodding might make my teeth hurt. So as I look at the scale of the extra cost and the extra benefit, well, the extra costs in my mind look bigger than the extra benefit, so I'm not going to go get a dental cleaning. And this is the challenge, of course, that dental offices have, because they're constantly not nagging people to come in for a cleaning, right? But if the extra costs are more than the extra benefits, then people, if they're rational, right, don't want to do it. So what happens is then a dental office has to start thinking about, okay, well, what can we do to balance, to shift the scale so that the extra benefit is more than the extra cost. So the people will want to come in and get their teeth cleaning. So one thing they could do, for example, is they could be open in the evening. So I no longer have to take an hour off work. There's no longer this extra cost to me, right? We're tipping the scale. There are some dental offices, for example, in British Columbia that offer spa services while they're doing the dental cleaning. So pedicures, for example. So now it's an extra treat to go, and that balances out the cost. If we can make it less painful of an experience, then people are more likely to go. It shifts that balance. What we don't consider in this is the sunk costs. So for example, the cost of buying the insurance. If we already paid for the insurance part in the past, and going to this visit or not going to this visit is not going to give me my insurance money back, then it's not relevant to the decision. It's only the extra cost. So if when I'm at the dentist getting a visit, I also have to then pay them, write out a check or give them money, for $10 or $50, then that is the extra cost that's part of this decision. As we look at the costs of going to the dentist, you might think, okay, well, I don't want to go to the dentist because they're going to tell me that I have a cavity, right? And that means that that's going to be pain to have to deal with that cavity. Well, you're going to have the cavity whether you go to the dentist or not. So thinking of the cost is, okay, well, there's going to be this pain of having a cavity. Well, that's not a relevant cost to the trip, because whether you know you have the cavity or don't, that pain associated with the cavity and the problems it creates don't change whether you go for the checkup or not. Okay? So we only look at the extra benefits and the extra costs associated with the single decision of going to the dentist. We ignore those costs that are sunk, so we can't get them back, we can't change them. And we ignore the costs or benefits that are not extra. So if you have them regardless of your decision, they're not relevant here. We recognize that both benefits and costs don't have to be just money. So there was the $10 or $50 you have to pay to go to the dentist, but you'll notice here teeth whitening, pain, spa services are not quantified. One thing we do in economics is we attempt to put values on everything. And we'll talk more about that in the next coming videos. But what we can do is we can quantify the benefit by looking at utility, particular marginal utility, which is the extra happiness or satisfaction we get for something. So then we can start to compare kind of bang for our buck in terms of extra happiness per dollar that we spend. So we do attempt to quantify both the cost and the benefit, but it doesn't necessarily have to just be in dollars.